We're talking with Rabbi Leib Tropper. Rabbi Leib, can you give us your take on the main healthy Middos, the characteristics that are requisite for Shalom Bayis?
I'm not a real pundit in the area of Shalom Bayis, but I could just tell you what I learned, and some of this is the contributing issues or characteristics that I feel are important for Shalom Bayis. I think the run for therapy is important after the run for Middos and character development. No question that, in retrospect, my life and other people's lives, I could see that cultivating Middos, anova, chesed, bitachon, all those Middos contribute to a much more salubrious marriage than otherwise without those Middos. And there are other Middos, of course, that are also contributing factors. That's number one. So I think, Eric Fromm at one point, I don't know if you know this, he was a religious person. And there was a book that was printed recently. It was called "To Redeem One Person is to Redeem the Whole World," written by, I think, maybe his first wife or somebody who worked for him. I'm not sure what it was. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, when I read that book, he had a thing called a Torah therapeutic clinic he had in Vienna. And he was doing that kind of Torah therapy for a while. But then when he became, as you know, his end result was he became an atheist, but we need some of that. We need some of the Torah, just Torah therapy, which we give kind of like a PhD in Torah therapy, and not just psychology, but in Torah therapy, which means people who are Talmid Chachamim enough to know what the Torah tells us properly and have an understanding, not just know, quote, verbatim what it says, but have a true Havana, understanding of what it means. Other ones communicating to you about Shalom Bayis, because I don't know what these therapists don't know how compromised their eights come after, when they give it, and how Toradic it really is, or I don't know. I'm not sure. I just don't know. What I've seen has not been something that I've been very impressed with personally, but I think it's really almost a chayv kaddish to be able to. First thing is that when the people have to work, and a couple has to say, listen, I have to start. I gotta go. What the cook calls a kfira aroyas. I have to have like a temporary just denial of the past. I gotta go back to start from the beginning. I gotta start rebuilding myself with what are the proper Middos that I'm supposed to be having? Where do I start from? I'm used to certain ideas. I learned them based Yaakov, where they supposedly have a big education. I'm not sure if they think they know more than they should know or not. And yeshiva boys think they should know more than they should know, and they should be treated a certain way. Yes, it's true that a wife should have kavod for a man. No question. But what the Havana of the halach is that a woman should want to have kavod for her husband. Now there are Yetzim and Akal cases that the wife just can't do it. The man does everything right, but when a man doesn't act properly and she doesn't have kavod, you can't say, have kavod for the husband. Doesn't care about davening, doesn't care about Shabbos, doesn't care about muktzah, doesn't care about treifus, brachas. Have kavod. Doesn't say that anywhere in Shulchan Aruch that you have to have kavod for that situation. A woman deserves a husband who she wants to be machabed. Yes, there are husbands that can do that, all those things, and still the wife doesn't have the appropriate kavod, and that's a problem. That's when the problem starts, and then there's the inyan of Middos on her part. But that has to be explored. Why doesn't she have kavod for her husband? What's missing? Because he doesn't bring in enough parnasa? That's the reason not to have kavod for your husband? Because he doesn't go and spend more time on Sunday going out to restaurants and playing sports with his son? And he gives his machanech his son long term by mommy telling Tati, mommy telling the little son Heshi, I know you want to go play outside, but Tati went to learn for 2 hours. After he learns for 2 hours, he's going to go and spend some time with you. What that leaves with the child is that the priority is to learn Torah, and then Tati will be with you. He'll spend time with you. Otherwise, it's first thing is the child recognizes that if it's the other way around, the child recognizes that the father is a hostage to him. You got to go spend time with him. It's Sunday. You got to spend. Sunday, now is the time for the husband. She'll learn for 2 hours. That's his priority, first part of the day. And now he can go and spend time with his husband, and the wife, with the children. That is a limud that the child will learn, and the child will take it with him as well, or her as well. She'll take that and respect that. So I'm giving some simple examples of things that really just need hashkafa kind of modification, if I could say that word. There were times that Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi, were involved with the Talmidim to help. I know that Scheinberg Zochanan Levracha was very involved. I know even today, and then Rabbi Shechter should be well, when he had the strength, he would be very involved. And then there was Rabbi Shlita, he's involved with us. I mean, there are Rabbeim that do that. Not enough, because then it becomes just, they send him to a therapist, they send him to, and who knows what they're telling him. I mean, who knows? Veves. It's hard to know, if they're giving them like the scientific approach to things. I met somebody recently, and as you know, Peretz, I'm quite familiar with the theories. I don't practice psychology or counseling in any way, shape, or form, but I'm familiar with the theories, from Freud through Maslow, through Rollo May, through all the Carl Rogers and all those people, and I see that everything, most of everything is even in the religious books, Torah books, is kind of smattering of stealing from this atheist by the name of Freud, Ziggy Freud. We steal from this atheist Ziggy Freud. I don't believe that somebody who's an atheist, he can understand the neshama of his two yidden to the point of when they want to be Oved Hashem and they want to have a happy life. I don't believe that it could happen. Maybe I'm naive, but I don't believe that this falls in the klal of Chochma Bagoyim Tamen. And neither does Rav Dessler in his letter in the end of Chela Gimel and Michtam Elio. He's not a very big proponent of psychological therapy in a lot of things. He's just not. And I think that he says when I'm mentioning that it's not easy for one to assume that a therapist who's not maybe even a Talmud Chacham is one of the requirements to give advice that is going to elevate the neshama. It's not a strategic thing. It has to be, the neshamas have to kick in together. The echadness of the husband and wife, this couple, have to be kind of anchored by Torah, by Middos Tavis, by the Tzelem Elokim that they have. Rav Dessler said one thing which is very interesting. He intercepted a very contemporary concept that's used all the time. Marriage is a give and take. Rav Dessler despises, has an antipathy for that kind of wording. He says, marriage is both sides giving. There's no give and take. Now let's talk l'mashal. Let's give a small mashal. A husband buys a wife a present, or vice versa. A wife buys a husband a present. Birthday, whatever it may be, anniversary present. The wife says, "Didn't I tell you I had this before?" Right? So she's taking, but she's not. But she's taking. All she does is taking. I'm taking this, but I'm not giving.
And taking away.
The woman buys the husband a present, and he says, you know that I told you I wanted this particular camera. I don't know why you bought this. No, I wanted that camera that I really. A person can make giving to taking, and taking to giving. You take something, but you're giving the husband the pleasure. I'm so happy that I made my wife happy. I am so happy that I made her happy. That's called taking, which is giving. And there's giving that the Gemara says, Rashi says in Chumash, Zessel points it out. Chamisha dvarim tziva kanal lebanav, evu esagezel, ve'evu zezel, love each other and love to steal. How could that be? Because when they gave each other, they're thinking, okay, so in 3 weeks I'll go back and ask him for a bigger favor. They were very calculating that this is an investment for something to return. So it's really, the giving is really parrots taking. And unfortunately, that's very much of a lot of the problems today. Everything is an investment, and nothing's just, I'm giving because I want to be a giver. At my hesped, if they say at somebody's hesped that he was an unbelievable chesed, he's always giving, he never was taker, that's not enough for them. They want to make sure that their taking is, what they're giving is something with taking. And it's, it's just, that's one of the big problems in relationships that I come across. I don't counsel, and I don't even. I could refer people to people. I don't refer people to the same people that other people. In other words, I don't refer people to like just the typical therapist that is a king size amoretz or knows little about chasadikim's middos, about the groz middos, about even the Chavetz Chaim middos. I mean, I would it has to be someone who's really familiar with middos, and somebody who's a mushchis b'middos has. It comes through. No matter, even if they present the words, it comes through and it catches on to the couples. So, in summary, it's middos, character. And of course, as I mentioned before, the one who's helping has to be someone who's roy lekach in terms of his own middos, his own character, his own idiyas haTorah, that he knows it's authentic Torah, not just something huff puff Freudian Torah that's embellished. A little piece of Torah, and then they kind of squeeze it into Freud. They squeeze it into psychology. Yesterday a man came to me and said to me, Rabbi Leib, I want you to know I practice psychology. I do mostly Shalom Bayis, but I show how science and Freud and psychology all goes together with Torah. I said, why does it have to go together? I mean, I don't know what's wrong with Torah without going together. Torah doesn't need plastic surgery. I mean, what do you mean it has to go together? I mean, that Torah is not enough. I mean, yeah, it's not beautiful enough. It's not like Shalom is a guarantee. So you have to give Torah plastic surgery. So, I guess we understand what I'm saying. That's my humble perspective, uneducated perspective, and I'm just want to share that with people who perhaps could gain from knowing this, that before you go to the therapy to check out your partner's problem, check out your own middos problem. Take stock of your own middos and where they are and what character could you improve. And say to yourself, what is wrong with me? Now, if you can't find those things, that's your biggest problem. That's your first problem. If you middos, I cannot find anything that's wrong with me, then you know you have a middos problem. Right? It's like somebody once said, it's hard to be humble, you're so great like me, right? So...
I thought it was the wrong one, but
right. So anyway, maybe you should bench us. We have shalom in our palaces and homes, and we should see the bracha of shalom in all the families of Klal Yisrael.
Amen. Thank you very much, Rabbi Tropper.